Well, welcome to Wildgoose Adventures. It's time to get the goose out of the water, get it hauled out, get the prop shaft done, and then we can go and have some fun. After a quick gurney to wash all the barnacles off, it was time to move the boat behind the mechanic's office, and then we can get started. Handstands have changed a lot in the 20 years since I last revamped the Goose. There's now stairs. We can take it to a nice dry area that's flat and easy to work on. There's plenty of services around if I need a hand. It's a much easier place to work. Well, it's taken 8 days, but reluctantly the rudder finally came free. Having had the rudder out, that means we've been able to remove the prop shaft, and the prop shaft was indeed incredibly bent and is going to be replaced with a new straight one. Also, just sanding back the hull and making it clean, and so that I can prep it and repaint it and make it nice and white and looking pretty again. Well, we're 3 weeks into our hard stand haul out, and it's impossibly slow, and I have to get used to the idea that it doesn't happen in a hurry. The prop shaft has been out and been replaced as we speak. There's some fittings being made for the rudder to make it easier to look after and manage in the future. I've done most of the sanding, and I'm prepared now to do a lot of the glass work and to be able to make the repairs and before I can paint. My issue has been the weather. The weather has been, well, it's not raining as such. Even now it's just lightly spitting and it's just a little bit inclement, but the problem with that is that I can't glass. I can't do any fiberglassing, so everything has to go on hold. Of course, sometimes you just have to stop all boat work and go to retreat somewhere dry. The realities of life mean that I need to be able to work to afford to do all of this work, so I start early, get a whole heap of work done, and then I go off to do what I need to do during the day. I don't just fly the drone for myself. Flying the drone is awfully fun, and I'm very privileged to be able to work with the ABC and several different organisations covering their stories. And then there's lots of teaching and talking cameras at the camera house. It's also a great privilege to be working with commercial entities trusting me to help tell their stories. Another great aspect is making music videos and working with some extremely talented people. The prop shaft is finally in. It's sealed at the other end. We're just making this new bearing. So the next part of this little prop shaft development is welding the bearing that holds exactly behind the prop in place. Kent's doing a fantastic job. But we're getting closer. The boat has now got a coat of paint all the way around. It's a full moon tonight, and we've got the prop shaft in and just ready to be finished off. One of the little issues that I have about this living on the hard stand is Kent needs to get to the engine so he can align prop shafts and do all the things that he needs to do. To make that easier for him, what I've had to do is take my top off the engine, so it makes it easy for accessibility for him. But for me, that means that all my kitchen space is gone, all of my storage space is gone for linen and things like that, and just makes life a little bit more of an issue. Well, the big news is that the rudder is back in. Still has to be fixed so that we can make it steer, but the rudder is back in place. Well, we're coming up to the 8th week out of the water. The goose is starting to take shape. The rudder's back in, the prop shaft's in, the bearing's in. I just need to connect up the rudder for the steering, and Kent needs to come and align the props so that we can start off afresh. With all of that done, I'm just waiting for a little bit of fiberglass to dry, so I thought I might give myself a little bit of time to come down and go for a swim here at Mon Repos. We've hit a few milestones since I've done the last vlog, and I really want to appreciate everyone who's come along, all the people who have subscribed and liked and commented. Really means a lot to me, and this has been an interesting time, so I hope you enjoy this show, and I'll look forward to spending some time on the water with you in episodes ahead. Until next time, smooth sailing.